First of all, the screen is going bonkers. What the hell is going on there? I don't know. It has actually slammed on and broke, so it's braking itself, it's braking itself, it's braking and kind of cornering.
Before we get into this video, I just want to say a huge thank you for all the support. We've just hit over 40,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. The giveaway is going to be ending in a couple of days as well, so don't forget to enter the giveaway. All the links are down below in the description. And a lot of viewers have actually asked me to set up a Patreon for the channel. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and set up a Patreon page. Again, the link for that is on screen and down below now. If you want to support us and become a patron, that would be amazing. It means we can keep the channel as community driven as possible, and it would help me hire a new editor and cameraman so we can go off and do even more crazy videos. But don't feel pressured, you don't have to do that. If you just want to continue liking and subscribing, that would be awesome. But if you want to become a patron, hell, I'm not going to say no.
Welcome back everybody to Tesla Driver. I hope you're doing really well. Today's actually a really special video. It's our 40,000 subscriber special. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the latest update. And we're going to be going through Hereford to basically reenact my city driving tour that I did on episode 1 of Autopilot versus the UK. Now that video actually got so much traction, like blew up, 500,000 views in like a few days, which is insane, but it actually shows really well some tighter roads around here and how the older autopilot system would work. I think since the last update, everybody's been thinking it's just got way worse. And the worst thing is, I'm not gonna lie, it has got worse. It really has got worse. For example, I was on this dual carriageway, and when I was on the dual carriageway and I put in the destination, it worked for a split second, and then as you saw just then, it turned off. So I'm not quite sure. It kind of works, but then it comes up with this error message saying that it's not available for the rest of the trip, which makes me think that it's kind of like the you know, when you take your hands off the wheel and then it says you can't do it again. So I was like, do I really need to park so that I can use navigate on autopilot again? Turns out I didn't. I just turned off the autopilot and then I turned it back on again, and it worked again for a split second, but then we got the same error message. So I don't know what it's trying to do. I don't know if it's confused that the dual carriageway isn't a motorway, because it should only work on motorways, but it kind of worked on dual carriageways. Now the other weird thing is this. Previously, when I tried to overtake and use the lane change assist on dual carriageways, it failed. It failed massively, and a load of other people have said that it fails on every dual carriageway. Oddly, I got it to work on the dual carriageway up to Hereford, but not navigate on autopilot. So it still did the lane changes, but it didn't do it on navigate on autopilot. I actually found the lane change assist really good. So I really don't know what the situation is right now with the software. I have also had it come up on a couple of occasions where it's saying that it's limited steering and I've had to take control, which is the new UN law. People are confused about this as well. Yes, it's a UN law, but EU implemented it. So the EU implemented it. America is part of the UN. USA is part of the UN. They didn't implement it. The EU chose to implement it, hence why I said EU rule. And no, if we do exit the EU, I doubt they're going to claim that rule back. I don't think it has anything to do with Brexit, guys. And I definitely don't want to mention that shambles again on this channel. So anyway, let's go forward. What we're going to do now is do a really quick drive. I'm actually charging here at a charging station, but it's only 43 kilowatt hours, and it is it's slow. It's only charging at 29 miles an hour, and it's going to cost me £6 for half an hour. So yeah, my half an hour's up. Let's hit the road. This is one of the areas I haven't tested the new autopilot system on. So we're going to be joining a dual carriageway here, and as we get up onto the dual carriageway, you can see here on the navigation, I'm going to turn on navigate on autopilot and let's see what it does. So first and foremost, are we going to join this dual carriageway with no problems? Let's find out. Normally it's worked fine actually on this dual carriageway. I don't think I've had to abort before, so this might be an interesting test. Here we go, the road splits here and the second lane appears now, and it did go slightly over, but it came back nicely. Now I'm going to turn on navigate and let's see. No, as you can clearly see, no navigate on autopilot has come up, so clearly it doesn't work on this, which is strange because it did work on a dual carriageway before. Now granted, this isn't a full dual carriageway. As you can see, it's a single line on the other way. So maybe there needs to be a hard divide between the two lanes to make the difference. Now this as well is a pretty swooping tight bend, but you can see again, it's not a problem. Luckily, I think if this was actually going to be an issue, we would have had serious issues. But you can see here, oh, there we go. We had an issue. Interesting. Autosteer limited. So there it was. That was the limit of Autosteer. Holy shit, that was like nothing. That caught me by surprise. We turned slightly around a corner and it didn't like it. We're being regulated speed-wise by the Nissan in front. So let's take this corner. Again, I've never had an issue taking these corners. So I really hope it doesn't have an issue now, because I'd be completely confident for Autopilot to do this on itself previously, whereas now I'm having to go and test them. It's asking me to apply light force, even though my hands are on the wheel. And is it going to do it here? No, it was able to do that corner with no problem. Again, it's asking me to apply light force. I mean, that nag is so annoying. Like, it is such an annoying nag. My hand is on the wheel. What I don't get is why they don't use, I know this car doesn't have a camera inside, why it doesn't use a camera to track my eyes to see where I'm looking. Because if I'm looking forward, I'm looking at the road, and that is more important than just having my hands on the wheel. I can have this hand on the wheel and the other hand on my phone if I wanted, but the car would be like, oh yeah, that's fine. This is the first bit where the lane splits and then goes into two roads. So the car seems to have taken the right lane favorably, which is actually what I would have wanted it to do, but it changed lanes there without me asking. So that's a little bit strange. Again, we're going into the right-hand lane now. Is it going to tuck back into the left? Yeah, it is tucking back into the left last second. You can see that the wheel is kind of at a weird angle. Now, previously, if you remember, I was actually able to change lanes on this road. So I'm just gonna give it another go. No, as you can see there, it didn't even like show that there was another line. It didn't show the other lane. It wasn't interested. So it's been taken away from me. Previously, we were able to lane change on this road. Now we can't. Now, this is the first bit of dual carriageway on both sides of the roads with a hard center boundary. This actually has a central boundary. So let's turn on Navigate on Autopilot on this very clear dual carriageway and see if it actually works. No, as you can see, it is not working. Navigate on Autopilot is not interested in this road at all. And yeah, it doesn't see this as a road that it wants to do it on, which is strange. And it confuses me on why it thought that the last road on the way up here, which was a dual carriageway just like this, was acceptable. I think it was probably down to the speed. That was a 70, whereas this is obviously just a 30. And maybe that made Navigate on Autopilot work and think it was on a motorway for a split second. Now we're at a car park, and we're gonna see if we try and auto park into one of these spaces, whether the car will actually do it. Oh my God, the screen's going crazy. Or if it won't steer enough because of these new rules. So here we go. Hopefully you can see this on the screen. We're gonna auto park into one of these spaces. There is a car waiting at the back there. I'm just going to indicate so he knows what I'm doing. But you can see here that the wheel is clearly steering more, and it is steering enough for us to get into this space. So I'm not sure how the regulations work on this, that it's fine for it to do this, but it's not fine for it to do it on other roads. I'm not 100% sure. And also, the weird thing about this, first of all, the screen is going bonkers. Are you guys... what the hell is going on there? I don't know. But also, what's weird about this is that previously it wouldn't auto park, because you can see actually here, this sensor is completely gone. That sensor is not even showing that it's working. And that's because since this update, for some reason, that sensor's just gone haywire, which is really strange and not good at all. But I've got to say, that's done that really well, actually fairly quickly compared to what it used to be. And yeah, if you're done, I'm happy with that. This is a tight bend coming up that it's actually done before without problems. So I'm gonna see if it does. I'm gonna try it at 25. It's pretty tight. Let's see. Is it gonna do it? Yeah, it still did it, no problems, and we didn't even get a warning up. Now at this point, the middle bit of the road disappears. We're getting a warning come up there, but look at it. It's like darting around. I am holding it and I am applying light force. I don't know why it keeps asking for that. But you see here, just cruising through. No problems now, but even at that corner, I'm pretty surprised how well it did. It actually did it really well. We've got, again, another very tight corner coming up here. It does get very tight physically as well, which is going to be interesting. Is it going to be able to do it? Is it going to lose itself? No, it's doing fine. It's doing fine. There are road markings, by the way, but it's just because it's wet. It's very hard to see. Because, there we go. We've got a little warning there. Still fine around this corner. Another warning. Still fine, still fine, still fine. Still doing it. Still doing it over the bridge, and it's gone right a bit, and I'm gonna have to come over. Let's just go around. Oh, we gotta go around all these people. Now this is interesting. I've got to be on this side of the road anyway, so let's turn on Autopilot, and you can see that Autopilot actually drives on this side of the road if you want it to. You can see here we're actually drifting all the way over to the right hand side of the road here, and we're hugging the right lane. We're absolutely hugging it. What are you doing, Tesla? We need to be all the way over here. What was it doing? This is the road that I really wanted to test this new update on. Now, this is what I call hell. This road is literally hell. It is super tight. The road markings are there, but as you can see, Autopilot sees them, then doesn't see them, then sees them, then doesn't see them. So I'm not actually able to turn Autopilot on yet until it's fully confident that it can see them. Now, this is actually a 60 down here, but you would have to be nuts to do 60. That guy looks like he's nuts and doing 60. But yeah, you'd have to be nuts to do 60 down here, because these corners, as you can see, are insane. And I'm just trying to get Autopilot to even catch here, but it doesn't look like it's picking up anything. All right, it should work up here. Let's just speed this up to 30. Now, this is the road I really wanted to test this update on to see how it dealt with these corners. I'm going to take these corners at 25 miles an hour. This is a 60-mile-an-hour road, but the corners are so treacherous, and I really want to see if it can do them. Okay, let's bring it down to 30 for these bits. So normally people would probably drive between 40 and 50 on these roads. We've not got anyone behind us now, for example, but I'm pretty sure someone will catch up quite quickly. So coming up, we've got this little array of bends, and it's just a nightmare. Watch this. Watch how sharp this turns. It did it. It actually did it, though. It stayed in the lane, and it took that turn correctly. That was actually really promising. We did get the warning come up on screen. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down to literally 20. We're gonna try this at 20, okay? Insane bend, no one's on the other side of the road, so don't worry. But it can do, oh my God. It nearly hit the bank then. I'm pretty sure the wheel actually scraped the bank, which is not good at all. So again here, I'm not sure who that is. We're going, let's see how it handles this one. Is it going to be able to do this bend? I think it's trying, but I think it loses the lines half the time. And then as soon as there's someone on the other side of the road, I will take full control, obviously, for safety reasons. It seems as long as you're going slow enough, it will take the corners for you. So again here, it's a pretty tight corner to the right. Is it going to follow it nicely and take it? Yeah, it took that actually with no problems. That was fine. And, oh, okay, we're getting a little error message pop up there saying apply light force. Not sure what it's all there. Again, a pretty tight, oh, we're slamming on. We have slammed on. What the hell is it doing? Now, I am doing this with no one behind me, and actually the car that is behind me is a friend, so he's like keeping people away from me, which is good. Just because down this road, like I said, it's like a hell road. It does some weird stuff. Let's speed this up then. Again, we're having apply light force. Even though I am, my hands are on the wheel at all time. I might even just hold them up here so you can see them. Here we go. We're coming to a little bit of a blind verge, so I'm going to slow it down to 40 so it has a little bit of time. And yeah, it did that no problem at all. Now, that wasn't really a corner, but the verge was interesting, or the summit even. Let's see if it does it again here. Yeah, no problems. And now this is where the roads are going to get very tight. The middle lane disappears here, as you can see, and the road does turn left. So let's see what the car does. Can it see those lines? Hopefully it sees those lines. Yeah, it sees those lines, and it did that very well. I've got to say, it actually did that very, very well. Let's bring this up. We've got a bus. Is it going to get past the bus? Yes, it did. No problems. Maybe an inch between us though, but I mean it's always an inch between us on British roads anyway. Again, a couple of very tight corners here coming up. How's the car going to deal with it? I'm going to try and take this one at 40, and it did it at 40 without a problem. And you can see that we're actually coming into a 30 now, so I'm going to bring it down to 30. Oh, we got another error. See, I'm not sure what that error message is asking for, because I'm holding the wheel at all times and we're not going around a corner at that stage. So I'm actually not sure why sometimes it bugs me when it really doesn't seem to need to. Now, what happens if we actually do start going faster around these corners? Is it going to abort, or is it still going to do it? We're going to hit this corner at 50 and well, let's just see what it does. We've got a bridge. Goes over the bridge. We've got a left turn. It's braking itself. It's braking itself. It's braking and kind of cornering. And as you can see there, it actually did the corner with no problems, and it broke for us and everything. So although that wasn't the nicest feeling, it actually did it really well. Now, we have got a cyclist up ahead of us, and I hope that Autopilot's going to be able to see it, but it doesn't look like he is. No, he's it's not seeing it, and for the safety of the cyclist, I'm pulling it off way ahead beforehand. But that there is definitely a potential hazard. It's gonna be interesting. So the lights have turned green. Is the car gonna stop for these? It has actually slammed on and broke. So you can see there, it actually did see the traffic lights. So if you do leave it long enough, it actually does stop, and it did brake in time. So there we have it, everybody. That is the new Autosteer functionality. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comment section whether you think it's slightly better than we thought initially, or if it's just worse and it needs to be sorted out. This footage is of someone that was trying to cut me up on the road. Thought I'd leave it in here for a laugh. Don't cut people up, just wait in the queue, everybody. Until next time, thank you for watching, and don't forget, drive safe.